how important these programs are. Long-form interviews. Not a conga line of guests, and you don't even know what you just heard. And when I agreed to do the show on Fox, which I love doing this once a week. It's wonderful. I said I want to do it differently. I want to do a long-form. And Mr. Murdoch and Suzanne Scott said, you do what you think you need to do. You know what I've noticed, Mr. Producer? Other hosts are now trying to do this. And you know what? I think I'm bringing back this kind of format now. Because they see the ratings thanks to you in Radio Land, thanks to you. Because that's the sort of thing you want to hear too. Intelligent, substantive discussions with people who need to be heard. And that's what you have done. But you can see it now more and more here and there. That there'll only be one Life, Liberty, and Levin. 8 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Stick with us. We have an important show this Sunday. Some people will tap the brake. Not me. My foot's on the gas pedal. I'll see you in a few minutes.
From the Westwood One Podcast Network.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. The Chinese came prepared with Democrat talking points to use against Democrats. They came with CNN and MSNBC talking points to use against Democrats. They came with the Washington Post and New York Times talking points to use against the Democrats. And most preposterous of all, they came with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's talking points, which they used against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in Atlanta today and were a disgusting disgrace as they tried to exploit race, even though, according to the FBI, the slaughter that took place there had nothing to do with race. And the Communist Chinese are monitoring this. The Russians are monitoring it. The Iranians, the North Koreans, they're all monitoring this. And so they take the Democrat talking points and they use it against us. Because the Democrats, listen to me, are doing more to destroy this country from within than our enemies are from without. And so our enemies from without are just joining with our enemies from within. It is a sickening irony, and it is truly perplexing what we're doing to ourselves. Now, I talked about what took place in some of the back and forth, and now you're going to get to listen to it. China to Anthony Blinken, the new Secretary of State in Alaska. Cut one, go.
We'll also discuss our deep concerns with actions by China, including in Xinjiang, Hong Kong, Taiwan, cyber attacks on the United States, economic coercion toward our allies. Each of these actions threaten the rules-based order that maintains global stability.
Well, you can't blame this problem on somebody else.
I have to tell you, what I'm hearing is very different from what you described. I'm hearing deep satisfaction that the United States is back, that we're re-engaged.
We never left you, idiot. Good God. Go ahead.
I'm also hearing deep concern about some of the actions your government is taking.
Well, I think we thought too well of the United States. We thought that the U.S. side will follow the necessary diplomatic protocols. So for China, it was necessary that we make our position clear.
我现在讲一句，你们没有资格在中国的面前说。
So let me say here that in front of the Chinese side, the United States does not have the qualification to say that it wants to speak to China from a position of strength.
In other words, what they're saying is, what are you going to do about it? Don't lecture us. What are you going to do about it? It goes on. Cut 2, go.
China is firmly opposed to U.S. interference in China's internal affairs. We have expressed...
Yeah, we're opposed to your interference in our internal affairs. Go ahead.
...opposition to such interference, and we will take firm actions in response. On human rights, we hope that the United States will do better on human rights. China has made steady progress in human rights, and the fact is that there are many problems within the United States regarding human rights, which is admitted by the U.S. itself as well. The United States has also said that countries can't rely on force in today's world to resolve the challenges we face. And it is a failure to use various means to topple the so-called authoritarian states. And the challenges facing the United States in human rights are deep-seated. They did not just emerge over the past 4 years, such as Black Lives Matter. It did not come up only recently.
Wow. You know, they almost sound like Joe Scarborough, don't they, Mr. Producer? A little bit more coherent, but they sound like Joe Scarborough. They sound like any one of these reprobates on television or in the Biden administration. Any one of these reprobates that lead the Democrat Party in Congress. They're regurgitating what they say about us. And so MSNBC brings on Ben Rhodes. Who's Ben Rhodes? He's former deputy national security advisor to Obama. If you read on Freedom of the Press, you're well familiar with him. He's a liar. He's a propagandist. And he admitted it. And he was proud of himself. In an interview, I believe it was with the Washington Post, I cite significant aspects of it in the book. And so they bring him on because he's a liar and a propagandist. And MSNBC and CNN have done... This is why Trump calls the media in this country the enemy of the people. You can see now what the enemy of the people, our media, have been doing to this country and the information they've been feeding to these foreign governments. And God forbid, if there is a war, in part, you can blame the individuals who are hosting and reporting and the executives who are paying them on MSNBC, CNN, NBC, CBS, and ABC. You can blame the New York Times and the Washington Post and other such entities because they're bringing us to the brink, both internally and externally. They're driving the discussion. Cut 3, this is Ben Rhodes on MSNBC today. Go.